These are the 5 trading skills that every consistently and profitable trader has. And these aren't the kind of things that you get from buying a course. They're the scars that you get from blowing up and then rebuilding and just showing up every damn day. Today, I'm walking you through in detail the 5 special trading skills that you need that separate the traders that have made it from those that don't make it. These are the 5 skills that have allowed me to make millions of dollars from trading in my 20-year plus career. And if you follow them, I promise you, it will completely change and transform the way that you trade. Imagine you're a seasoned trader, accustomed to making calculated decisions and really tactical and strategic moves. Suddenly, a political announcement totally disrupts the market equilibrium. On April 2nd, President Trump announced sweeping tariffs across the spectrum on every single country known to man. President Trump declared this Liberation Day. This move sent shockwaves to the global markets, leading to a multi-day crash. The S&P 500 plummeted more than 10% in just a couple days, erasing over $13 trillion in the markets. Think of the market as a smooth sailing ship, grinding higher, just minding its own business. The only time that equilibrium changes is when shocking news comes out the door. Traders must become adept sailors, adjusting their sails and course to navigate those turbulent waters. Just as a sailor can't control the storm, the one thing that they can control is their response. Traders must adapt their strategies in response to market changes. Take the case of this trading guru Mauricio, a trader who has experienced significant losses due to unexpected market volatility. His story shows the importance of adaptability. Despite all his expertise, unforeseen political events led to substantial financial setbacks, highlighting that even the most seasoned traders should be agile and they gotta respond to market changes. Adaptability isn't just about reacting to market changes, it's about anticipating potential disruptions and having contingency plans. Guys, the key is to stay informed about what the is going on in the world. You need to know the news and what is actually happening on the geopolitical scene so that you can move side to side as the news starts to come out. So here's the thing. When this type of news hits, first, you gotta be prepared to sell everything and flip. The market was heavily long when this news came out, trapping traders and creating a liquidity event where the big boys are just dumping for days in advance, and now everybody is caught off sides. So you need to have a kill switch on your account where you say, you know what? This is something that's new. It's something that's special and unexpected. What I need to do is dump everything and reassess weeks later. At worst, or even best, if you're truly nimble, you dump everything and you start selling short. You can get caught with some small losses. That's totally okay. But look, after Trump announced that news, the market dropped 10% and the average stock was down 30 or 40%. You could have totally sold all your stocks, taken your 5%, 10% loss, flipped short, and recouped all that money and then some by just being adaptable and by being agile. Let's talk about raising your size without blowing up. When you start to increase your position size, it can be one of the tortuous and emotional things that you go through. Let me tell you a little bit of a story. During one of the first Traders for a Cause, I'm talking 10 years ago, I was on an epic hot streak for almost 2 months. And at the time I was trading much smaller. I was making $1,000, $2,000 every single day, like really consistently. I go to this conference and I was so inspired by the other speakers, talking to people that were making millions of dollars a year. They were just so much better than me in my eyes. And they had awesome processes and they got me so pumped up. And they themselves were, Kunal, you gotta push it. You gotta push your chips in. You gotta push your chips in. And I went home that day and I made a promise to myself. I'm not just gonna be pikering around for $1,000 here or there. And I went in and went gangbusters the first day I got off that plane and the market opened. And it was a hot wreck. See, what I did was I didn't scale my size slowly. Instead of saying, hey, I'm gonna risk $500 per trade and go to 600, I just started risking $1,000 per trade, $2,000 per trade. Frankly, in a lot of them, I was risking $5,000 or $10,000 per trade. And so what happened, after a few big down days, I was caught in the spin cycle. Now I was trying to make that money back, and I still had it in my head that I got to get bigger and bigger. I ended up with the worst 2-month drawdown in my trading career, but it started from a good place. I was inspired by some amazing traders. I had amazing dinners and conversations with these people that I look up to, and I came home pumped. But what I did was I did not size in a systematic and proper way. What I should have been doing is instead raise my risk a little bit by little bit every single day till I get where I need to go. What I should have done is go from risking $400 a trade to $500. And if that works for a week, take it to $600. And if that works for a week, I raise it $100 every week till I get where I need to go and I find that sweet spot where I'm really comfortable. And then you got to kind of base out for a bit and then you turn on that risk again. But for me, I just got so pumped. I went all in the very next day trying to make that $1 million payday, and it blew up in my face. And that drawdown was so painful. Like I had to really reassess all my strategies, all because I got a little bit too pumped up and I started sizing without a plan. Think about it like this. If you're lifting weights, you don't just go from being some skinny Indian benching 100 pounds to doing 200 pounds the next day and 300 pounds the next day. You gotta go in literally like week after week and raise it a little bit at a time. Your nervous system, and frankly your body, is not prepared to handle those kind of loads. Trading is the same way. If you're going to do this, what you need to do is just raise it a little bit, just like you're working out. You're risking X amount per week. The next week you size up just a little bit more, 10%. Then you increase your risk 10% more. And what will happen is over the course of 3 to 6 months, your risk and your gains will start to compound as they slightly get bigger and bigger, just like you're building muscle. So if you start raising your size and your heart starts pumping, you're really trading off that adrenaline, you're not ready. You've increased your size too far and too fast. So you need to take a step back and do it slower. What I wanna do is take a sample size of my last 30 trades that I've slightly increased and see if I followed my execution and trade plans perfectly. If I have, and I don't have some big emotional outbreak while I'm trading, then I know I'm able to step up the size just a little bit. And you just wanna go 10% at a time. So that's where risk management and discipline start to come through. Skill number 3, risk management and executions. Guys, you don't become a consistent trader by picking the perfect trades. That doesn't happen. You become a consistent trader by managing your risk. In my career, from training over 7,000 traders, from 0 to hero in less than 60 days, I have seen every walk of trader. I have seen numerous traders take $5,000 into $100,000, even $200,000, and then blow it all in 1 or 2 trades, 1 or 2 slumps. I recently had a student of mine that I worked with for months, and she went on a rampage as a funded account trader and took nearly $600,000 in payouts. And literally the next week, she lost half of it during the Trump tariffs. She didn't pay herself, didn't pay her taxes. She just kept putting it all on the line. And then guess what happened? She got caught long, and all of a sudden, without the proper risk management tools, she lost all her money. So the key to this is not making money. You're gonna go on runs, you catch the right market at the right time, and you have a couple good strategies, you're gonna make money. The key is, can you keep it? When the market shifts and you get hit with news and the spectrum changes in the style of market trades, are you able to be adaptable? Can you, in a hot second, change your bias and manage your risk all at the same time? I can't count how many times in my career the literal focus of the market shifted in a millisecond, and everything went from a hot long to, oh my gosh, things are going to blow up. We need to get out of our positions and shift to the short side. Adaptability with managing your risk is the key to staying in the game long term and really making profits week after week, year after year. It always starts the same way. For every trader I've seen go through this in my 20 years of training traders. You go on a hot streak. You start to loosen your standards. you start to loosen your principles. You start to believe you are the system and that you are an exception to the system that you've been using to build your profits. You're in a trade. You slowly will start to oversize. We've all been there. Hey, I'm hot. I am the system. Guys, you're not. And so what happens is you start to loosen those standards, and now a trade starts to slip away. You buy a stock at 100, your stop loss is at 99. Next thing you know, you're moving your stop loss to 98. Now it's at 98.50. You move your stop loss to 97. And you keep loosening your standards. And when that one trade slips away and you've broken 4 or 5 rules, what's gonna happen? It becomes a cascade of bad and emotional decisions that you stack on top of each other. It's not that you're taking a few losses that are bigger than what your risk management principles say. It's that you start to stack them. One bad decision begets another. And guys, once you make 5 or 6 really bad decisions, the tsunami starts. You get desperate and you start to oversize and you start to compound all those bad decisions, and you get in a spin cycle of despair. You buy everything too high and you buy everything with too much size. Then you sell it where you should be buying and you just get stuck in that spin cycle of despair. Guys, when I've blown up accounts, and I've blown up 4 or 5 in my day too, it always comes from that spin cycle of despair. It's not from taking one big loss. It's from compounding lots of bad decisions, dozens of bad decisions in a row. 2% here, 4% here, with a little bit extra size. When you start doing that 15, 20 times in a row, poof, your account is gone. Most traders treat risk management as some side skill. They focus so much on patterns and setups, and they toss risk management and make it like some friend you need in case of an emergency. Your job is not to be a trader. Your job is to be a risk manager. If you're going to make it for 20 years like I have, day in and day out in the markets, your job is not professional day trader. Your job is to be a professional risk manager. Consistency in the markets and big profits doesn't come from home runs. It comes from controlled exposure, where you're able to compound gains day in and day out, but stay away from the blowups. That is the true way to gain exponential growth in your accounts and get to the profit targets that you desire. And guess what? None of that matters if you're chasing every single shiny strategy. That brings us back to the biggest skill gap I've seen in 99% of the traders: mastering that one setup. Everybody wants that big Chinese buffet of trading setups. They want to trade options, they want to trade futures, they want to get into crypto. Whatever's hot, people want to be in on. But that's not really what's going to lead you to consistency in the markets. If you are the jack of all trades and you're proficient at 10 different things, or even above average at 10 different things, you're actually not going to be a consistent trader. The best traders I know are the master of something. They know down to a granular detail every tactical piece of one trading setup. I've got tons of friends that are traders that have made 8 figures in their career that will literally sit out the market for weeks to months waiting for the fat pitch, their big setup that they know inside and out. And those setups only come a handful of times. Now, I'm not saying you have to be that type of trader where you're just trading 4 or 5 times a year. What I'm saying, though, is that you don't need to be in the market, in the pre-market, during the day, during the close, in the aftermarket, then trading crypto at night and doing Forex and futures on the weekends. You don't need to do that. The holy buffet of setups is not going to get you where you're gonna go. It's just gonna get you action and a really sore wrist. You're not gonna have any consistency because, frankly, you're just a B player in 10 different markets when you need to be an A player in one market. Imagine you walk into a gym and you see a guy doing some pull-ups, bench press, he's rocking the squats, he's hopping on that treadmill, doing a little jump rope, probably on some low-grade TRT as most white guys are 40 plus, versus that one guy that's just sitting there in the corner practicing the perfect kick. And every single day he comes in and practices just this one kick. In a street fight, who's gonna win? The guy that's just running around fluffing his balls and doing some pull-ups, or that dangerous man who's sitting there day after day just practicing that one kick. Trading is the same way. Just because you got your hands in a lot of things and you're in the action, you're in the hot stocks, does not mean that you're going to be a consistently profitable trader or make any money. But if you are spending day after day learning about one thing, you're going to be the master of something. You may not be able to trade that every single day for the rest of your life, but every time you see that opportunity, you're going to have a strong chance of making money. And that is where the real action is. It's with the pros. You can be a B player in 10 different items. You can be a B player in 10 different markets, or you can be an A player in one. Always be an A player in the stock market. Listen, the stock market is full of the smartest and most well-capitalized people in the history of the world. The biggest crooks with the most money are in the stock market. So if you're coming in and just trying things and you're dusting off a couple trading strategies, you're drawing some squiggly lines on a chart and saying, wow, I'm in this futures trade. Wow, I'm in this Forex trade. And you're trading against some pros, you're going to be losing money. They're taking your money. That's how they win. Versus, you come in and you've been practicing this one setup every single day. Those pros, they don't do that. They don't have that kind of discipline. You come in and you're trading that one pattern and you're doing it down to a relentless detail. You're going to be in the big game and you're going to be able to extract profits day in and day out when you see that setup. Your edge doesn't come from doing everything, from being proficient at a multitude of setups. For me, the quick pullback buy was that one setup that I was able to focus on and really get a grip on that changed my trading career from somebody that made money parts of the year to somebody that made money every single day. To this day, 20 years later, when I see a quick pullback setup, I can nail it with such confidence and consistency. I don't even need charts anymore. I can literally look at the ticker and make money on it. Once I did this setup thousands of times and made money on it, it just got boring. It wasn't some kind of game. I didn't get an adrenaline rush. It just became part of my process to extract my income from the market. Look, at times conditions will shift. Volume drives. Your setup may go stale for parts of the year. When that happens, the traders that don't have this final skill, they just disappear. So let's get into it. This might be one of the most underrated skills in trading, knowing not when to trade. But the truth is, the best traders may sit out for days or even weeks when their setup isn't there. It's about emotional control. Let me tell you a little bit about Jason, one of my top students who built a unique strategy around trading momentum stocks and breakouts. He was killing it and printing money. But what really separated him was when the market cooled off, he was able to step away. He would literally take months off and go start a new business or go invest in something. And then he would come back and start crushing it again. The last bull run, he totally crushed it and literally took his family on a vacation for a month, came back like nothing had ever happened, and started crushing it again when the market conditions were right for his style of trading. All because his edge wasn't in the trading pattern. It was in the discipline of knowing when to push his chips in and when to just go on a vacation for a month. So let me ask you this. Are you comfortable with just sitting around and doing nothing? Finding other ways to bide your time while other people are supposedly making money, while you're looking at social media and saying people stack wins, but your particular market is not there? That's what real trading skill is all about. The real pros know that you don't have to be in a trade every single day. Knowing when not to trade is a superpower. It's not passive, it's restraint. And the restraint is the real edge. So look, it's not exciting, it's not flashy, and frankly, it's boring. But these are the 5 skills that actually make traders profitable. Not indicators or some Discord signals or some special scanner. If you're serious about developing these 5 skills and enhancing them, click the link below and book a call with a member of my team. We offer a free trading consultation where we will work with you on an individualized basis to see if our Bulls on Wall Street program is a fit for you. We've helped over 7,000 traders over the last 15 years with the same exact system that we've traded some of the best traders in the industry with. Set up a call and see if our system is a good fit for you. See you on the inside.